Hello everyone, welcome back to Music Re-Education. As you can see, some set changes have been happening. I've got some sound foam up, and the reason for that is one, so you can we can lose some of the echo, we can cancel some of the background sound so that this can slowly become a studio space to be used for more education possibilities as well as recording possibilities. So some changes are being made, and that's why I've got all this stuff up here. Yeah. So today I wanted to share with you an element of learning instruments that we don't normally use. I wanted to illustrate this concept first and foremost for this video series especially, because if I don't establish this now, then everything else following is going to be confusing. This concept is the native key. The idea of the native key follows the principle that all instruments are non-transposing. By their nature, they are all non-transposing. So I'm holding up a trumpet right now. This trumpet is a B-flat trumpet. Traditionally, the music that you read for a B-flat trumpet is considered transposing. That means that the note you see is not the note that is actually being played out of the instrument, the note that sounds out of the instrument. Normally I would see C on the page, I'd play C, and what actually sounds is B-flat. That is the traditional system. I am teaching you a non-traditional system. So it's important before I proceed that we understand from the beginning first principle, which is all instruments are non-transposing. Treat all instruments as non-transposing. Okay? Now I'm going to go forward with the assumption that you understand that all instruments are non-transposing. Alright, that's the last thing I'm going to say about that. Okay. The native key is the key associated with the name of the instrument. So, a B-flat trumpet. The native key for a B-flat trumpet is B-flat. Okay, cool. The native key for a C trumpet is C. The native key for an F tuba is F. The native key for a mellophone is F. For a French horn, F. Okay? An E-flat tuba's native key is E-flat. Alright? We understand that. Cool. Next. Instruments that share the same native key share the exact same fingering system. Let's illustrate that point. I'm going to play the native scale of this instrument, which we've already established is B-flat. Alright, and we're going to pay attention to the fingerings at the same time. Okay, so our first note is B-flat, fingered as open. We don't press anything down. Our next note is C, fingered 1 and 3. Next note after that is D, 1 and 2. E flat, 1. F, open. G, 1 and 2. A natural, 2. B flat and the octave, open. So, all of those together. Okay, so I'm going to leave those fingerings right up here on the side because the B-flat trumpet is not the only B-flat brass instrument. In fact, there are many B-flat brass instruments. meaning that the native key is shared among many instruments. So I'm going to show you an instrument that happens to be in the same native key as the B-flat trumpet, the B-flat tuba. The B-flat tuba, if I were to play its native scale, will follow the same fingering structure. Now, my B-flat tuba has 4 valves instead of 3, but many traditional tubas have only 3. So I'm going to play just using the 3-valve system. The 4th valve is something that provides alternate fingerings. I mean, I can have as many as 6 valves on the tuba, and they just provide alternate fingerings to make it easier to play certain notes. But you can play any note with 3 valves. So, let's do that. For my native B-flat, I play open. C, I play 1 and 3. D, I play 1 and 2. E flat, 1. F, open. G, 1 and 2. A natural, 2. B flat, open. Same fingering. Exactly same fingering system. Why? Why would they be the same fingering system? Because they are the same native key. By this principle, the connections that you make between multiple brass instruments are not dictated by your sheet music. They're dictated by the native key. If a B-flat trumpet has the same fingering system as a B-flat tuba, then an F tuba has the same fingering system as an F horn. Forming the connections between instruments with the same native keys are the building blocks to learning new instruments, more so than learning new sheet music. Because if we follow music education as a whole, from pre-K through college, we learn to read music. We know what's on a treble clef. We know what's on a bass clef. And if we had a really good teacher, we know how to read a C clef. So we understand the concept of an alto clef, a tenor clef, a soprano clef, because we know how to read a C clef. We know what that does. And if we can read that, then all we have to really learn is the fingering system. And if you start on one instrument, it naturally moves you to another instrument that has the same native key. If I play a C tuba, I already know the fingering system for a C trumpet. If I play an F tuba, I already know the fingering system for an F horn or a mellophone. I already know it. I just have to read the notes. I already know it. Going to switch back to transposition for a moment. The main focus behind transposition was for speed. How quickly can we learn music? How we don't have to reinvent the wheel. No one has to forget their fingerings. Play trumpet, you can play baritone. You read treble clef, you use all your trumpet fingerings, but it plays an octave lower. An octave and a whole step lower, at least. They did that so that you didn't have to change. You didn't have to learn anything new, because they already knew that the trumpet was stuck as reading a whole step up. That was a silly mistake. That was silly, because it's unnecessary. We didn't need that. We didn't need to transpose that music, because we already had parallels. We already have the ability to read the music. So creating a transposition system doesn't make sense if we already have connections between instruments. And that's why I have a hard time standing by the concept of transposition. It is an antiquated system. And I wanted to show you where those connections can lie without transposition. People say and argue that it's for speed. There's speed right here. I play my B-flat tuba. All the music that I have played on the B-flat tuba, I know backwards and forwards. I know the fingerings backwards and forwards. I can play those songs on a B-flat trumpet. Same fingering system. I can play the same notes, just an octave or two above, because they are the same native key. And I'm learning the mellophone right now. I love the mellophone. Where'd I put the mellophone? Here it is. The mellophone is kind of hilarious in its transposition state, because its native key is F, but it reads everything like a trumpet. Sort of, anyway, because you're using the transposed B-flat trumpet fingering system. The idea that if you look at F, it's 1, because that's the B-flat transposed system. But the native key of the instrument is F. So not only is what you're reading incorrect, because that's not what comes out of the instrument, but the fingering system's all out of whack. And they did that for speed, when they didn't realize that the fingering system for F is pretty close to the fingering system of B-flat. There are some parallels, and we're going to go into those next time. But it boggles my mind, because this has gone on for so long, we haven't taken the time to really step back and analyze what we have before us in this musical renaissance of new instruments and new ways of learning and pedagogy. We haven't considered the idea that you can learn every instrument non-transposed. And I assure you, it is easy. And it will allow you more flexibility going forward. It will allow you the ability to change instruments. Yes, there are multi-instrumentalists out there that have just adjusted themselves and they just change systems and they flip a switch and it's fine. But there are so many musicians that want to learn more and then get stuck with transposition. It's not that they don't understand it, it's that they don't agree with it. They cannot fathom why this system still exists. So many students that I've spoken to, so many adult learners that I've spoken to, that sit there and say, but why? Why does that happen? Why do we still do that? That doesn't make sense. And if enough people are saying that, maybe, just maybe, we as composers, we as educators, we as musicians need to take a look at the system. I'm not saying one is horrible and the other is better, but I am saying there might be another way. If there's another way, how about we try it? Happy practicing. I'll see you next time.